Hi there, cutie. How are you? Me? Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for asking. All right. Just waiting for you guys to come on so we can get this training started. I'm pretty excited about this topic because, first off, I don't hear a lot of people talking about this, but they should be, right? And second of all, this is for real going to help you whatever it is that you want to go forward in life. Like if you could push a button to get something in gear in your life, this is going to help you do that. So that's why I'm excited to share this information with you today. So as you come on, say hello, post a little comment, and then I can greet you properly and say, mwah, mwah, welcome. I'm in a mood today. I don't know about you guys. Well, hi, Cherry. Welcome. Hi, Debbie. Hey, Heidi. Hey, Talar. So glad you guys are here. Yeah. I don't know about you guys, but the last 2 days been like for me. This Jupiter turning direct after 4 months. I thought it was just going to be like, yeah, really, it was like I could barely stay awake. I was so glad I had the chiropractor book today, right? Because now I'm on every other week, and I'm like, thank you, it's today, because it was really perfect. I have so much. Can you tell? I'm like back to my old grounded self. It feels good. I'm grounded. I'm clear. I got notes for today's talk. I'm so excited. All right. Hey, Holly. Hey, Crystal. Fred and George are like, we love you, Crystal. We love you. Hey, Marta. Hey, Michelle. Hey, hi. Oh, Crickle Bean. Did you know that's Crystal's nickname is Crickle Bean? Well, if you're on retreat, you know, but now we all know because Heidi just outed her. Yeah, Holly, you too. Like, so tired the last 2 days. And then today I woke up and I was like, I stretched my body. It felt so good. Went to the chiropractor. I'm telling you, I'm like back on top of the world again, which is pretty sweet. All right. So you guys ready to get started? Oh my God, it's like 4 minutes after. Chop, chop. Let's go. All right. Today we're talking about push v pull. Push versus pull energy. Now, I know you guys, you think you know, you're like, I think I know what this is, but I don't know. But I'm going to show you how to harness this push and pull, right? And I'm going to show you what to do because most of us gravitate towards one of these and find ourselves lacking when it comes to the other. Well, I'm going to show you some tricks on that. So we're going to learn all kinds of coolio stuff today. You ready? Me too. All right, let's go. So let's talk about push energy first because it's kind of my go-to, right? I'm more inclined to think of push, like to create something, to push something into motion than I am to pull. I have to remind myself to employ more pull energy to maintain that balance. But let's talk about what pull. Hey, Lady Roxanne is here. Welcome, Roxanne. Let's talk about what push energy is, right? So push energy I use that term simply to refer to actively moving energy. Okay, you're doing this in an active fashion. So think of it like forward thrust. Push energy is do energy, right? If you are a doer, if you consider yourself a doer, an action taker, your go-to is probably almost definitely push energy. So, but also ways that you might not think of push energy is a calm persistence. That's actually push energy, right? If you do any energy work for other people, you know that sometimes they have resistance, right? And it's our role as the healer to take a stand for them, to hold space for them, to help them create their breakthrough, right? And so that's like, when people are resistant, like, hey, Jessica, I'm not saying Jessica's resistant, I just happen to say hi to her at that moment. But when people have resistance, I don't get mad at them for having resistance, right? Because it has nothing to do with me. Their resistance belongs to them. It doesn't belong to me. If I have feelings about their resistance, like I'm agitated or I'm frustrated or I feel like it's taking too long or whatever, those belong to me. But the actual resistance belongs to them. That's not on me. So there's no need for me to, when you understand that, there's like no need for you to get annoyed with people or to have, you know, feelings about their resistance. It just is their resistance. So you can be in a space of calm persistence and like, seems like you have some resistance to this. Are you interested in looking at that? You know, can we explore that now? Or like whatever, right? Or let's see what that's all about. That is calm persistence, but that is a gentle push energy, but it's still push energy, right? Another example of push energy is, hey, Courtney. I didn't mean Courtney was push energy. I just was saying, hey. But another example of push energy is speaking up for yourself, right? Which doesn't have to be like, hey, mother, beep, 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 right? It could be like, excuse me, I was next, actually, or whatever it is, whatever the situation. But activating your throat chakra and actually speaking up for yourself, taking a stand for yourself, another person, something that's important to you, like a principle or a concept or a group of people or whatever. All of these are push energy, right? So I don't want you to be mistaken and think that push energy is all used car salesman in your face. Come on, come on, come on, come on, come on. How much would you pay for this right now? Right? It's not that. That is push energy. Yes. We only have 3 spots remaining. So chop, chop, pick up your phone, take out your credit card. That's all. Pushy salespeople are definitely using push energy. But there are many, many instances of push energy that are not as like invasive, not as affronting, and very, very effective and necessary. Okay. Hey, Lisa's here. Welcome, Lisa. So taking a stand, being assertive, right? Assertiveness and aggression, both forms of push energy. But aggression may be, Crystal, get out of our photo. I don't get it. Hey, boy, get out of her. I don't get it. Oh, right. Sometimes it takes me a minute. I told you guys, my memory is like, what? So here's a perfect example of push energy. And so we're at the Garden of the Gods on the VIP day in this last retreat, just this past Sunday. And I wanted to take a picture. Like Heidi Braun was like standing a certain way and she had these like the red mountains were like behind her and stuff. And I was like, oh, I want to get a picture. And right as because I'm slow as shit with the iPhone. So like right as I'm like lining up the picture, this teenage boy, right? If you know teenage boys, kind of clueless, right? We love them, but that's really how they are. This teenage boy comes and stands right behind Heidi. And I'm like, damn. Right? I was just like, damn. And I look at Stephanie Raby, who was standing next to me. Like, I look at her like, you believe this shit? But I didn't say anything. And she goes, hey. Oh, I don't think she snapped at him, but it was definitely like, hey, you, can you move? We're taking a picture. It was so perfect, right? Like, I didn't even have time to say, you believe this guy? And she's like, hey, can you, thanks. You know, she was cool about it. And he was totally like, what? Oh, my bad. Right. And he moves over and I get this awesome picture, right, of Heidi Braun. But yeah, it was pretty cool. Stephanie was definitely using some very appropriate push energy. Right. So that's why Crystal said, hey, boy, get out of our photo. Right. I was like, what? And then I remembered. So, and Lisa says, passive aggressive domination energy is a collective energy that is real. All right. We should talk about dominating energy another time because I have some things to say on that, but I'm gonna stay on topic today. But happening to all women. I don't know about all. I'd say that we have a choice in that, but I'm sick of it. Yeah, I know a lot of people are. And Roxanne saying, yeah, Stephanie, right? Very, Very appropriate level of push energy in that circumstance. Yo, move please. She was just like, hey, you're in our picture. It was great. It was awesome. Roxanne says, I love Stephanie. I know, me too. Why isn't she on this? She's not working today. Maybe she's interviewing. I don't know. All right. So assertiveness, right? That was a perfect example of assertiveness, like I just gave you. Now, on the extreme end of push energy, we have what you would consider pushy, assertive, in your face, aggressive, overbearing, right? All that isn't always what's happening, but that's the perception we can have, especially depending on how sensitive we are to other people's push energy, right? Some people are way sensitive. They don't like I have a hot button around people telling me what to do, but that hot button all depends on who's doing the telling, right? If I hire, like I have these two coaches that I'm working with, if I hire a business coach to advise me on things, they could say, hey, do it this way. And I'll be like, all right. I mean, that's why I'm paying them, right? Because presumably they're a little better at some of these things than I am, at least a little, right? So it's like, okay, I got this, right? But if my 7-year-old son is like, hey, mommy, move, I can't see the TV. Oh no, I'm a snap at him on that, right? Like, excuse me, that is not how you speak to me, right? So that's going to hit a button for me. He's not trying to be pushy. He's just like, hey, I can't see the TV. Move. He's not like, hey, move your fat ass. He didn't say that, right? Because he wouldn't be alive maybe if he did. But I'll just say it. No, it's not funny, but seriously. No, and that's not appropriate, right? And we teach people how to treat us and by what we're willing to tolerate, right? That is not a thing I would tolerate. Being like, hey, move. Oh, excuse me. Where's your manners? How do you ask? How do you speak to your mommy? Or anyone older than you, really. So yeah, so push buttons can depend on who's pushing the button too, right? And if my husband is like, that'll never work, you damn better believe I will make it work if he says that, right? Or if he's like, no, we need to do it this way. I'm like, hold up, right? All right, so hey, Emma, welcome. Okay, so yeah, and Lisa's abusive. That could be like so much push energy that is beyond aggressive and into abuse. That is definitely a thing, right? For sure. So extreme examples might be used car salesmen, or what we think of as the stereotypical used car salesman. How about those women in department stores that want you to try the spray cologne? Definitely some push energy happening there, right? When you can tell someone works on commission, they're probably using push energy. Like when it's obvious, like, damn, what percentage do you get if I get this, right? As opposed to like the sample people at Costco are like, hey, we got some of this, come on over if you want to try it, whatever, right? Versus, hey, like the people that sell Dish, oh my God, they're like, clearly on commission, lots of push energy. All right. So I'm showing you different kind of ends of the push energy spectrum, right? Okay. And I got some examples, but I'm going to come back to those. Okay. Now let's talk about pull energy. See, some people mistakenly think that those who use pull energy are weak or lazy or doormats, none of which is necessarily true. I mean, those things aren't like mutually exclusive. They could be true, but one does not automatically mean the other. I have to finish this coffee because it's coming up on 3 o'clock here, and like 3 to 4 o'clock is kind of like my window. Like I really can't have any caffeine after that time. Little things you didn't need to know about Amy Scott Grant. Okay, so pull energy, the definition of pull energy is simply positively attracting energy. Whereas in push energy, we're like actively moving energy in some direction. With pull, we're just attracting, we're positively attracting energy. That's all that pull energy is, right? So words like magnetic, attractive, alluring, intriguing, mystifying, curiosity, things like this are all examples or words that we might associate with pull energy. You're right, Lisa. Manners never go out of fashion. That's true. Okay. So if you think about, like, here's an example in nature of pull energy, right? Is a a spider that spins a spider web. She does all this work, right? She weaves this amazing web, and then she kind of kicks back and waits for the fly to happen by. And then when it does, dinner, right? So that's pull energy. She's creating push energy when she creates this, and then she kicks back and then pull energy and waits for dinner to show up, right? Other examples of pull energy are intention setting, visualization, opening your heart to receive, right? All examples of pull energy. I tell you what else, confidence works like pull energy. I know you probably never thought of it that way, because when you have true confidence, it's not an end to any means. I said that wrong. It's not a means to an end, confidence. You're not like, I'm going to be confident so that. That doesn't work. That's false confidence, right? When you are confident, you just are, right? Just like this shirt is red. It's not like trying to be red. It's not like pretending to be red. It's not faking it till it make it red. You know, it's not like black disguised as red or with red flecks it's red. It just is. And confidence works the same way. It just is. So you're not being confident in order to attract a certain result. You're just being confident. And because you're simply being confident, when that resonates as authentic and true to who you are, it naturally pulls things towards you. People, places, things, all of this, right? So like Talara says, the tides, exactly, right? It's like, if you ever, when the tide's like going out and you stand on the beach and like that sand just comes right from under your feet, right? Like you couldn't hold on to it if you tried, because it's just pulling it. It's just the ocean's just pulling it right back out, right? Okay, so receptiveness is another form of pull energy. Being open and receptive is a way to draw things to you. Being grateful is a form of pull energy. Again, look at the intention. Okay, if you're like, wow, I'm having trouble attracting what I want, so I'm going to focus on gratitude so that I will attract more. It's your intention could really jack with it, right? Then it becomes push energy, and then you're like, why isn't this working? I've been making a damn gratitude list every day for a month. What the hell? Versus being grateful just for the sake of being grateful, just relishing that experience of gratitude. That's what creates the pull energy and draws things towards you. Now, Lisa asked an excellent question here that said, is it always positive? And even her comment on Talar's comment also said the pull of the tides is not always pleasant, right? Hello, and like riptide, how many people have died? No one here, obviously, but like how many people die in riptides, right? Because they get like pulled straight out, and it's like that rip current pulls them out to ocean, and they're like, what the hell? I'm like swimming, because they don't know to swim parallel to shore to get out of it or whatever. But yeah, the pull of the tides isn't always pleasant. So what are some examples of pull energy when it's out of balance, like extreme pull energy? One of the best examples I can give you is a narcissist. If you've ever had interaction with a narcissist, when you're in a relationship with them, it's horrible. It's absolutely horrible. It will make you question everything about yourself and your life, right? And the meaning of life. But if you've ever had the opportunity to observe a narcissist in other relationships, it's kind of fascinating, because their daily intake, like their supply, it's called narcissistic supply. Their supply of attention is so great, it's like a black hole, right? And they can appear to almost effortlessly suck in people and situations and resources and attention and all of this kind of stuff, right? So Um, Lisa says, my mother has narcissistic personality disorder. Scary AF. Yes, it is. Hungry ghost. Exactly. They're like a bottomless pit. And so that is the extreme unbalanced end of the spectrum for pull energy, is the narcissist who just pulls in an infinite supply, and it's never, they just like gobble it up. It's never enough, right? But they just keep pulling it in. And you know what? If you have the nerve to leave them and to step out of their life, they'll throw some daggers at you for a while, and then they'll go get their supply somewhere else, because that's what they have to do in order to keep feeding that condition, right? And so they will continue like dementors. Yeah, very much, very much. They will continue to suck that supply, right? So, but I'll give you some, if that's the far end of the spectrum, I'll give you, here's some other like unbalanced, but not as extreme as that. Guilting someone into action. I think we've all probably had people like this in our lives, like, well, I guess I'll just have to go alone, since, like they post on Facebook, I guess I'm all alone here because no one cares, that I'm going through this. What does that do? Right? If you have more than like 3 friends on Facebook, it's like, oh, honey, what's wrong? Right? Like sympathy and empathy starts flowing in. Attention starts flowing in, where it's like, what can I do? What do you need? Whatever. It's like, there are other ways to reach out for help, right? But some people do them in this sort of victimized, almost passive aggressive way. So this is an example of unbalanced, or an imbalance of pull energy, is guilting people into doing things, right? Guilting people into other people into action. It's a way to put things out, and then it like sucks, it sucks people towards you, but not in a positive way. A vacuum. Right? Nature hates a vacuum. So what happens? It sucks more things into it. Black hole, that's, and it just like consumes and destroys everything. Well, depending on, which scientific philosophy you believe. Does it destroy it, or does it transport it somewhere else? We don't really know, right? Have you seen Interstellar? Love that movie. But anyway, yeah, so these are some examples of pull energy that's gone imbalanced and out of control. Now, why are both necessary? For balance, right? There are situations, and there are people when one works better than the other, right? And there are times when it's beneficial to switch between the two. And I'll show you in a minute how to know when it's time to switch and how to facilitate that switch so it can be smooth and easy. But first, let's talk about situations where both is necessary. Okay, so for example, animals, right? Some animals respond to push energy. I'll give you one example. Well, some of you guys know my oldest, Sally, got a dwarf hamster, Coco Bean, who we love so much. She's like the cutest thing. Heidi Brahm, during retreat, Heidi Brahm did Reiki on Coco Bean, and she was like, oh my God, as soon as I picked her up, like my hands instantly started sweating. It was crazy. They got super, super hot. I'm like, she's like this big. She's like a little bitty thing, but she's so cute, right? But if you just put your hand down, the odds of her, especially if she doesn't know you, right? Like if you like came over today, but don't, because I have plans. But if like, say you like came over today and you just stuck your hand in her habitat, because Sally said we don't call it a cage because that's confining. We call it her environment, or her habitat, or her home. Okay. So if you just put your hand out, I don't know, I'm saying probably maybe 50-50 that she'd actually climb on your hand. Depends on what kind of mood she's in, right? She also sleeps like 20 hours a day. So it depends on if she's awake. But you can sort of scoop her, or use 2 hands to like, collect her, right? So there's a little bit of push energy that goes in that. And then she likes to run. So she might run over your hand, and then you put your other hand, and then she runs that, she runs that, she runs that, right? So a little bit of push energy to like collect that animal, right? Dogs, dogs definitely respond better to push energy. When you're training them, when you're calling them, it's like you call the dog, you whistle, you wave, you clap, whatever whatever you've worked out with your dog. That's like how you're like, hey, dinner, or time to go or whatever. Jingle keys. There's all the kinds of different things. But there's things that you do. And when you're training your dog, before your dog's been trained, you have to like assertively take control, right? This is, if you do any kind of like dog obedience training or whatever, it's what they tell you. You have to be clear that you are in control of the situation and that the dog has to listen to you. So that is, holding them by the collar or, right, there's all these different ways that use push energy. Now, if you try any of those with a cat, you're going to end up shedding some blood, right? Because that cat's not having it. The cat is not having push energy. No. If you want a cat to come to you, then you need to go away from the cat, sit on the sofa, and get really engrossed in a book, a magazine, or the newspaper. And then that cat will show you who's really boss by like shredding your newspaper or putting its tail up under your nose as it walks back and forth on your lap, or like sniffing your face so you can't even read like what you're trying to, whatever, right? So pull energy is how you attract a cat, specifically like indifference, right? That or a can of tuna, either way. But they work really, really well for pull energy, right? So different animals respond to different things. Horses are typically, even though a lot of people use push energy in training horses, especially riding horses and racing horses, if you've worked with horses, they respond much better to pull energy, right? To being drawn in with you versus, having a bit and being forced into situations. So it depends on the animal. There are times when one is better than the other. Again, even with horses, like you have to train a riding horse differently than you train a pet horse, right? So, or like a jockey horse, it's going to be trained very differently than a pet horse. Okay. So animals, that's one, right? What about romance? Okay. There's, again, this is one where it depends not only on the situation, but the person and the nature of the relationship, right? There are some times when we really like it when our partner takes charge. And I'm not just talking sexually. I mean, this could just be in terms of, where are we going to go on vacation? Or, where do you want to go for dinner? Or what do you want to do this weekend? Or whatever. Sometimes we love it when they just like take control. And we're like, God, that's so great. I didn't have to make a single decision. And other times we're like, what the hell were you thinking? I can't believe you spent all this money and you didn't even talk to me to find out if I wanted to do this or not. I know Lisa and I had a conversation about this recently. Courtney's like, I'm loving this topic. Lisa and I actually talked about this recently. She did a session with me and she was telling me how her husband, like usually in the past, or I guess he's bought gifts that were like, whatever. And this was, a concert was coming that he thought she would like. And he actually talked to her and said, would you like to do this for your birthday? There's this concert coming and I could get us tickets and we can go out to dinner and like make a whole evening of it. And she was like, oh my God, yes, that sounds amazing. Right? So it was like he balanced that push-pull energy because he could have just pushed and went and got him, but then she might not have been happy with that. Right? Or he could have just been like, whatever you want to do is fine with me. That would have been total pull energy, right? But instead he balanced it really well. And she was really excited about the end result. So in romance, it's like, we have to communicate, which we don't always do. I know I've been married 20 something years, right? I know it hardly seems possible, but I assure you it is. I feel like I can't even say that anymore with my grays growing out. It's like not as believable. So I was like, I'm so young. Now I'm like, I don't know about that. But even today I was like, I don't know, maybe I'll start dyeing it again. And Cindy was like, no, I like it. I'm like, really? I don't know. It's kind of weird. It's just like so white, like right there. But at any rate, I'm digressing here. Let me get back on topic. So yes, and also, you might feel differently at the beginning of a relationship. I mean, how would you feel if you were on a first date, ladies, and the man was like, the lady will have blah, 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 and like orders for you? I'd be like, bitch, you don't know me. How you know what I want? No, I will order for myself. And if I don't know what I want, I will ask you what I want, right? Because we do that too. Like, I don't know. Do I want the lamb or the duck? I can't decide. what do you think? I'll make my husband check in because I know I have a bias. I'm like, honey, which one's more optimal, A or B? Pick for me. But I don't want him ordering for me. No. So again, but it depends because you may feel differently if it's the start of a relationship versus when you've been together 20 something years and you're like, just order the Chinese food. I don't care. You know what I like? Just get whatever, just no shrimp, but whatever, like, or whatever you feel like. So, and what about work, right? No matter what you do for a living, I promise you, there's instances when push energy is more warranted than pull energy. Okay. And again, it depends on who you're interacting with, whether that's coworkers, boss, clients, vendors, whatever. And it also depends on the situation, right? If you are in your performance review at work and you're getting, feedback that says that you're pushy, that your coworkers are kind of intimidated by you and that this is affecting your workplace, that's not the time to like pitch a hissy fit and demand to see HR, right? Like, interesting. You might need to sit with that for a minute and then get some pull energy going, right? To rectify the situation. Okay. And vice versa. If you're sitting, if you're getting feedback from your boss or your coworkers that says, you're kind of a pushover and you don't speak up for yourselves and you don't advocate for your clients or, whatever. It's like, that's not the time to sit back and be like, interesting. Let me sit with that and get back with you. It's like, oh, okay. What they're telling you is it's time to employ a little more push energy. But as I said, we typically feel comfortable with we feel more comfortable with one of these, usually a lot more comfortable with one of these than the other. And so it's uncomfortable at first to start to employ that other kind. But let me just give you an example of a work thing. Okay. Let's say that you forget the job for a second. Let's say that you own your own business, which I know a lot of us do. There's two different ways to get clients, right? You can get clients through push energy or you can get clients through pull energy. Now, the best way would be to employ both of these, right? But an example of push energy would be running a special, like having a promotion, okay, where you're advertising a special and you're creating some constraints in there, like you have a limited number or you're only offering it for a limited time, or even, like the first 3 to respond or the only ones they're going to get or whatever, right? Or they have to jump through some kind of hoops or whatever to get this deal, like enter a coupon code or make a video that explains why you should get, or I don't know, whatever you want to do, right? But that's all like, you got to get this now. Even if it's not pushy, even if it's like, hey, this is what I got, you got to get it now, that's still push energy, right? Pull energy is, I'm reading this book called Presence, even though Heidi Brahm advised me not to, by Amy Cuddy. She's like, you really don't need to read it. All you need to know is Wonder Woman pose. That's it. But, I have a defined sacral and I already started reading it, so I kind of have to finish reading it, but I'm speed reading it. But anyway, what's really interesting to me is just in chapter 1, there's she talks about some chick that did a study on why investors, venture capitalists, who people come and pitch their idea, like Shark Tank, but in real life, people show up and pitch their idea to venture capitalists. She like intimately watched like 165 of these to see what verbal and visual cues, like what was happening in the ones that they got the deal versus they didn't. And what she saw as a common denominator was that it was those who were most present, right? They were confident. They were, already forgot what the 3 things were. Let's see, I wrote them down because I didn't want to forget. Hang on, I'm going to tell you. They were confident, they were comfortable, and they had passionate enthusiasm. That was what all of the ones who got the deal had in common, regardless of what they were pitching, how much money they were asking for, who the venture capitalists were, all of that. That's the thing that they all had in common. And when I read that, I thought, wow, that's so interesting, because that's why I've had people like sign up to work with me, spend $10,000 only from seeing my YouTube videos and nothing else. Like they had no interaction with me. if you go to my website, askamianything.com, there's not a damn salesy thing on there. It's literally like, here's who I am, here's blog posts, here's stuff you can buy. That's it. There's no like limited time, whatever. Oh, you can sign up for the newsletter. That's pretty much all you can do on my website, right? And the website I had then didn't even look as pretty as the one I have now. But people would sign up and be like, I have to work with you. And I'm like, wow, that's so interesting, right? And that's because I'm very comfortable talking to you in this format on video, right? I'm definitely comfortable. I'm definitely passionate and enthusiastic about this shit, right? Like I have the best job in the world. I get to do clearing work like all day long and teach you how to do it. I love that. Why would I want to work at Starbucks or in the corporate world when I could do this instead, right? So I'm definitely enthusiastic about it. And I'm definitely confident because I know what kind of results I've gotten for people that I continue to get, right? So I'm like, that's so interesting. Like that in chapter 1, it actually just explained why that happens. Because to me, it was kind of a phenomenon. I'm like, I'm not sure I ever have like, wow, saw one video, knew I needed to spend 10 grand working with this person. Does that happen? I mean, it does happen because it happened to me, but I'm like, what kind of mindset do you have to be in for that to happen? It's just me being me, right? But people will frequently say, I saw your video and I knew you were the one to help me. I think even when Lisa just hired me, she was like, you were the girl of the moment. And I was like, well, I like being called girl, but I was like, okay, I mean, I do what I do. You like it, you don't like it, whatever. Presumably you like it or you wouldn't be watching this video, but it's so interesting to me, right? So I was using a lot of pull energy in my videos without even realizing that's what I was doing, because that's what pull energy is. Like I said, it's what did I say, how did I define it? Positively attracting energy. That's what I was doing. I wasn't like, let me put out some videos so I can pick up some new clients. No, I was just like, wow, this topic is up. People need to know about this. And so I just put out the video because it was up and it's a good resource. So like my clients or whatever who are like, I'm kind of blah, 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 whatever. Bart just posted something in Club Clarity today. And I was like, oh, hey, check out this video series I put up on YouTube, like, I don't know, a year or two ago. I'm like, it's exactly what you're talking about. It's going to help you a lot, right? That's really why I put these videos out. So that's an example of, getting clients through push energy and getting clients through pull energy. And to me, it's the most balanced to do both. But as a doer, as a more type A kind of person, I tend to gravitate towards that push energy. But you know what? Eventually you can burn out on that because it takes effort, right? And pull energy requires you, it takes a different kind of focus because it requires you to be crystal clear on what it is that you want, who you are, and what you stand for. Okay. All right. So there's work examples. So why are both of these necessary, push energy and pull energy? Well, because they can be situation specific, as I mentioned, right? Remember we were talking about performance evals at work, right? They can be person specific because, as I said, some of us gravitate towards one over the other. In fact, I'm going to talk about human design types and how what your human design type is relates to what type of push or pull energy you're typically attracted to, or and also like your life strategy, right? Because if you met with Burry to have your human design, that's one of the things he tells you is your best strategy in moving through life, which for me was extremely counterintuitive. Like he was telling me this and I'm like, no, it's not really the way I've done things in the past, right? And so I was like trying it in like little snippets and oh my God, what he said worked, right? Because that's how human design is built. It's not like Burry making this up and going, I think you should try this. He's like, no, you were built to work this way and to function this way and to respond this way. So if you work with the way you were built instead of against it, you're going to have much better results and life is going to go so much smoother for you. And I'm, me, last born, I'm like, maybe, like I'll try it, right? And then I tried it and it was awesome, right? Watch the replay because I came in obviously the right moment. Always right on time, Rebecca. That's what I affirm. I'm always right on time. There's no such thing as late. I'm always right on time. I might be a little late with the coffee because it's getting kind of cold, but that's okay. All right. So person specific. Oh, money. Let's talk about money for a hot second. I'm of the opinion that your relationship with money improves when you use both, when you use push energy and pull energy, okay? And the pull energy would really be around like your vision board, your, again, I gesture to mine, which is off camera, which you can't see because it's got personal shit on there, so I don't put it on camera. But yeah, your vision board, your intention setting, your visualization, even though visualizing is a push activity technically, right? Because you are moving energy towards a focal point of what you want. But what's cool about that is visualizing is really kind of push and pull, because look, if you visualize for like 5 or 10 minutes a day, whatever you're visualizing is going to happen, because the magic doesn't necessarily happen in those 5 or 10 minutes when you're using push energy to visualize. It happens in the 23.75 hours following that before you visualize again. That's really where the universe is like pulling and attracting and manifesting stuff to you. Okay. So with money, you got to have that clarity and that vision and that purpose and that focus. But at the same time, eventually you have to get off your ass and do something, right? Even if the doing something is picking up the phone to call somebody that you got to hit to call, or posting the ad that you got the hit to post, or, you know, it doesn't necessarily mean you're out digging ditches and hanging sheetrock, right? But it means that you are actually taking some form of action. So there's your push energy. All right. Crystal says, I'll have to listen to mine again. I forget what he said, except for the last one. I know, right? Because Burry gives you so much. That's why I'm so grateful that he records it, because he gives you so much information that you're like, I mean, I could take notes pretty damn fast. And even I was at some point, like 40 minutes in, I was like, I'm full. Like I can't receive anymore. So, but it's okay, because he was taping. I'm going to put the, let's see. I'm just going to put that link in there real quick. I think that's right. If you want to have your human design done with Burry. Okay, so, yeah, and I'll pin that mofo. Okay. Yes, so I believe you need both with human design. All right, let's talk about the human design types and how this push-pull energy impacts. Now, this is your big type, okay? This would have been like, if you had your session with Burry, it's literally on the chart thing that he sent you down at the bottom. I think it says type or whatever. So you're either generator, manifestor, projector, manifesting generator, or reflector. I have yet to meet a reflector that I know of. So, and I really don't know anything about reflectors because I've never had any as clients, because all my clients, I pay for them to get their session with Burry. That's how important it is. So, and I've yet to come across a reflector. So I'm not going to talk about them because I don't know anything about them. But I do want to talk about human design strategies, right, for push-pull. So if you are a generator, then you know your strategy is to wait to respond, which sucks because most generators are like, let's get it done. Let's go. Chop, chop. Come on. Make it happen, Captain. Right? All of that. Our tendency, generally speaking, is to drive energy. It's the push energy. But we actually have to set ourselves up to have something to respond to. Like, I'll give you an example. Today, this morning, I put together a special package for the folks that have been on retreat. Right? And rather than just pushing it all out there, it's like, no, here's what I want to do. Here's what I'm offering you. If this interests you, if it resonates, send me a PM and let me know which way you want to pay. Do you want the payment plan or do you want the discount for paying in full? It's like, that is how a generator sets themselves up to respond, right? So I put the information out there. If that resonates with you, here's what you do. And then I have something to respond to. Right? This is just what works for me in my business. So you could say that putting together the package and presenting it, like presenting the offering, was the push energy, and then sitting back and waiting to have something to respond to. Not waiting. It's not like I'm like, okay, what am I responding to? Right? I got laundry going. I got other shit going. I'm writing. I got all this stuff, right? So, but having something to respond to, that is what works for my human design as a generator. That would be the pull energy, okay? And then also if I'm visualizing, if I'm intending, if I'm creating like a defined focus in my mind and opening my heart to receive. That's all pull energy, right? Okay, so pure manifestors use a lot more pull energy than push. Because in fact, if pure manifestors use a lot of push energy, they'll wear their poor little asses out. Because they, like, pure manifestors can like go for like 45 minutes to an hour, and then they got to do something else. You know, some of the pure manifestors I know are like 25 minutes. They can only really focus on one thing for 25 minutes. And then if they keep trying to push beyond a short time frame, they get tired. They really get tired and like tuckered out. So if you guys know my my friend Alyssa Smith, right? Alyssa and I would brainstorm all these great ideas. Like we'd be like, oh my God, we should do this, right? Like business or whatever. This was years ago. We would come up with all this great stuff. And then we'd get off the phone. And what would I do? Generator. I would go to work. I'd be like, great, I'm researching this. I'm putting together that. I put up a website, write an article. Like Alyssa would go take a nap because we'd been on the phone for like 40 minutes. Whew, she's tired. Need to do something else, right? So she would like get off the phone with me. I would go to work. She would take a nap. And then when she woke up, something related to what we were working on would be waiting in her inbox. Like literally the exact thing that she needed would show up. Such is the life of a pure manifestor, right? So it's like, get really clear. It's like inform and then act. And she would tell me, I'm going to go take a nap now. And I'd go, great, I'm going to go do 17 billion things. You go take a nap. We'll reconvene in like 2 hours, right? She'd say, I go take a nap. And then she'd go take a nap. Inform and then act. That was her strategy. And then when she woke up, the universe had delivered. And she would be like blown away every time. She'd be like, oh my God, I took a nap and Amy did like 17 things. And I'm like, yeah, but that's what I'm built to do. Like, I never had any resentment around that because I'm like, this is what I do. Like, give me things to respond to. And in that meeting, she'd be like, oh, we need to do this. And I'd be like, we need to do this and this. And this. Well, yeah, okay. Well, I'll take these 7. You take those 2. She'd wake up, one and be done magically. This is the charmed life of a manifestor. Okay. So if manifestors push too hard, they burn themselves out. They've got to rely on pull energy. They got to be clear about what they want. The same is true for manifesting generators, because really manifesting generators are generators that have manifesting capacity. So it's kind of like, well, I'm saying the same is true for manifesting. That's not true. What I mean to say is, manifesting generators probably have to have the most balanced approach of all of the types. Well, the 4 types, because we're not talking about reflectors today. I don't know jack about that. So maybe ask Burry if you want to know about that. But okay, so Cherry is a generator. Okay, yeah, same as me, right? So your go-to is probably push energy. That's probably what you are drawn to do, right? Is to move things forward, to put energy in motion. And you may have to remind yourself to employ some pull energy from time to time. Okay, manifesting generators have like this like 5-part strategy, which I won't pretend that I have memorized. But basically what it says is they receive an opportunity or an invitation or a choice or whatever. Then they got to like reflect. They got to go within and think on that, right? Or sit with that or open their heart to that or whatever. So let's say they're presented with an opportunity. It's not like generators are like, yeah, no. Like we know pretty much instantly if we want to do this opportunity that we're presented with, right? And manifesting generators are like, let me sit with that, right? So they kind of have to sit with that for a minute. They reflect. Then they choose, okay? What is it that they want? This is where they're crystallizing their vision. So really being presented with the opportunity and reflecting kind of like, I mean, those are almost neither push nor pull, right? It's just like stuff shows up and they consider it. Then they choose, okay? Choosing is what starts to put stuff into motion. They choose and then they act as they're guided, okay? This is kind of the flow of the manifesting generator. Have I told y'all that I have manifesting generator envy? That I am a generator that wishes I was a manifesting generator, and that I plan in my next lifetime to come back as a manifesting generator. This is how I know. And I attract like all kinds of manifesting generators into my life. Like my closest friends are pretty much all manifesting generators. I love these people. Okay, they're fantastic. So this is their process. So when they put things into motion, when they make that choice, that by taking that small action, that tiny push energy, they're really putting a lot of pull energy into motion. And then all there is for them to do is move as they're guided, which they have the energy to do as a manifesting generator. Okay. Now, yes. Yeah, Heidi Brahm is a manifesting energy. Emma says, definitely having some push-pull energy here right now. Internet working, then not working every few minutes. Indeed. And then Courtney says, ooh, choosing puts things in motion for them. Cool. I know, right? See why I want to be one? All right, so now projectors. God, do I love projectors. These people are like salt of the earth, right? I love projectors so much. They have, in my opinion, the most frustrating strategy, right? And I have worked with many projectors as clients, so I get this. Like, I feel it for you, babes. I really do. The projector strategy is to wait to be invited. Oh, right? Oh my God, how frustrating that must be. And how do they get invited? By mastery. So they basically have to get super freaking good at something and then wait for someone to notice and invite them to participate. I'm telling you, these people are amazing. So, and when you have a projector on your team, like when you actually invite a projector to be on your team, they can create all kinds, they can draw all kinds of stuff to you and your team by using pull energy. Once they're clear on your vision. So here's kind of how the projector strategy works in terms of push-pull energy. If a projector uses push energy, they're seen as pushy, intrusive, maybe even obnoxious, and unlikable, which they're not. I love freaking projectors. But when they use push energy, it doesn't land right. And it's like, whoa, 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 who died made you God, right? They're just trying to help. They really just want everyone to be happy and get what they want. That's every projector I know, that's really what's in their heart, right? Is they just want you to be happy and get what you want, right? But the tricky thing for them, my middle one too, Cherry says, that's my daughter, projector. That's my middle one too. The tricky thing for them, they just want everyone to be happy and get along. The tricky thing for them is it's way easier for them to manifest for you than it is for themselves. So projectors are typically very giving people who are very underappreciated. Can you tell I love them? I feel so much love for projectors, and I have several in my life, right? So the projector strategy is to be invited, right? And then to wait to be invited. And when they get the invitation, first off, they're like super excited to be invited, right? They have to like sit with that, and they'd be wise to like get some distance from that. Like, oh my God, she invited me, right? Every projector I know, if they're honest with you, they'll tell you that's how they felt. They're like, oh, I'm so happy to be invited, right? So they have to like kind of get some space from that and then sit and go, wait, okay, is this an invitation that I would like to accept or not? Right? So they have to get a little space to like choose. And that would depend on what type of, Roxanne's giving me thumbs up because Roxanne's a projector too, right? It's like, oh, it's so exciting to me. And Sydney's the same way. My middle daughter is a projector. Like if like a bunch of us are going out to dinner, if someone's like, would you like to sit next to me? You can see like her face lights up like, oh, she invited me to sit next to her. Like whoever it is, even if it's me, she's like, and then she'll have to think for a second. She'll either be like, yes, please, or no, thank you, right? So the projector gets the invitation, should get a little bit of space, right? Because otherwise they could all go, oh, I'm so excited to be invited. And they say yes, and then it doesn't work out because they didn't really make sure it was in alignment, right? So they take a little space, they make their decision. Now, once they accept that invitation, they can work freaking miracles for you. Oh my God, the stuff they can do for you will make you so happy and it'll just blow you away. And if you share your vision, if you invite a projector to collaborate with you and you share your vision with them, they are like masterful at pull energy. They can draw to you everything that you need. But it's so much harder for them to do that for themselves. So they really are a gift. They really are. And projectors they really cannot use a lot of push energy because they will burn out. Okay, they are not built to be Energizer bunnies like generators. And when Burry did my readings, my human design readings for my kids, he warned me about this for Sydney, because he said, look, there's 5 people in my household. 3 are generators. 1 is a projector and 1 is a pure manifester. Okay. And he said this projector, when projectors are surrounded, really listen to this if you're a projector, okay, or if you have kids that are a projector. When projectors are surrounded by generators, they are able to draw some of that generator energy and keep up for a period of time. But if they don't get downtime, if they don't get time to themselves to decompress and rest and revitalize themselves, they will burn out and they can make themselves sick over it. Okay. Now I will tell you, Sydney, every day when she comes home from school, she goes to her room and has some time, even though she's excited to see me and, well, not so much her siblings, right? Because they're at the same school, but she's excited to be home and like see her room and see me and Andy, but she really needs to just go to her room, have at least 20 minutes of just quiet. She might put on music. She might just lay in bed and like just feel her little soft blankie or, you know, hug some of her stuffies or whatever. She's got to get all that energy from all those people, because projectors take on other people's energy. She has to get all that crap off of her. And then she can go to dance or to theater or to her activities or rejoin the family or whatever. But she's got to have that downtime, right? And so Burry warned me, like, she can only keep up with y'all for a certain period of time. She's got to get rest. And I've absolutely seen that to be true. Absolutely. Okay, Courtney says, oh man, I bet a couple people I know are projectors. In fact, I'm kind of surprised I'm not one. Well, I could do a whole nother training, and maybe I will someday, on like, I find that a lot of people are not living their design, right? There's a lot of manifesting generators who are living like they're projectors, even though they're not. There's a lot of projectors trying to live like they're generators and burning themselves out and getting frustrated and being misunderstood, and right? So there's a lot of us out there who are not living our true design, and it's causing friction. It's causing life not to go as smoothly as it can. But at least now that you have like a basic understanding of how push and pull energy affects your type, I hope that this will help you, right, in how you approach situations in life. Okay, so how to recognize, real quick, I know we've gone almost an hour. I've got like 2 more points for you, and then I've got some homework if you choose to accept that. So how to recognize when it's time to switch to the other type, okay? I call this a pivot point. And if you have 2018 Boom, this is all in there, okay? This next stuff that I'm sharing with you is on page 76, all right? Yeah, of 2018 Boom. You got that? Okay, so it's time to switch to the other type when you recognize that you've been consistently doing things one way and it appears to no longer be working, right? Like push energy has worked for you for a long time, and now all of a sudden you're exhausted. You're just tired, you don't want to do it anymore, and it doesn't seem to be producing results. That's a good indication that it's time to pivot and activate some pull energy. The other way, it looks like you've been visualizing, you've been writing your affirmations, you've been visualizing every day, you've been working on your vision board, you've been doing all of this like law of attraction 101 stuff, and nothing's moving, or you're feeling antsy and restless. That's a good time when you're like, it's probably time to take some action. Like, what have you been putting off that it's now time to do? Okay, so by evaluating yourself, and also like what I shared with you today about what's your human design type and how does that impact what you're, what you typically gravitate towards or what is most optimal for you to use. Like for generators, it's most optimal for us to use both because we have to have something to respond to. And a lot of times that is push energy followed by pull energy. What I like to do is I like to get really clear about what I want. So I like to do the pull energy first, then do the push, then the pull. Push, pull, pull, push, pull. That's what I find works really good for me as a generator. Right? So evaluating yourself, evaluating the situation, like we talked about the performance eval at the job, that's a situational, maybe it's time to pivot, right? And evaluating your progress. Are things working? I mean, if you're using push energy and it's working and you're getting the results that you want, keep doing that. Why would you change it? There's no need to pivot, right? But if your progress has slowed or it's not where you want it to be, then it could be time to pivot. All right. And to shift from push to pull or vice versa, or to balance out both of them more evenly. So Courtney says, definitely not living mine for human design. I'm a generator and I could definitely tell I'm not using that potential to its fullest. Well, Courtney, if you want to book a mojo session with me, we could get to the bottom of that and I can help you get that clarified. All right. That feels good. Push, pull, push. I usually just push, push, pull a little after I get worn down, which is how most generators operate, right? Okay, so how to pivot. This is the part that is in 2018 Boom on page 76. Simple. It's 3 simple steps and then the follow through, okay? Step 1 is to get grounded because you don't want to pivot when your energy's all up here in your head because you don't know if you're making the right choice. So first thing is to ground yourself. Second thing is to clarify what you want, okay? So get grounded, get clear about what it is that you really want. And then your third thing is to use your truth testing, your pendulum, muscle testing, body sway, whatever you like to use, to ask, is it time to pivot? And how I recommend you ask that is, all things considered, is it time for me to change tactics? Or you might even ask, all things considered, like let's say you've been using a lot of push energy, you might ask, all things considered, is it optimal for me to use more pull energy around this? Or vice versa. If you're using a lot of pull, is it optimal for me to activate push energy around this? Okay. And then just follow through with whatever you get. If you get no, that means you might just be in a little slump. So keep doing what you've been doing and you'll have a breakthrough soon. But if you get yes, that means it's time to shift gears and change. All right. So that's how to pivot. Okay. So your homework, if you choose to accept it, is to simply notice what you're using. You know, when you're trying to get your kids to clean their room, or you're, trying to get a new client, or you're on a sales call, or you're, trying to find the right book at the bookstore, like whatever it is you're doing, like anywhere in life, notice in that moment if you're using push or pull energy. And I hope you can see by now that we can notice without judgment, right? Because there's pros and cons to both of these. Neither one is better than the other, right? So it's like you're not noticing and judging, you're just noticing, like, wow, that's interesting. Every time I do this, I seem like I always use push energy. That's kind of interesting. And then once you notice what you're using, ask yourself, how is this working for me? Right? Not necessarily in a Dr. Phil kind of way, like, how's that working for you? But like, is it working? Is it working well? Yes or no? If not, then check in and see, is it optimal to pivot? And if you pivot, notice what happens after you pivot. All right? So pretty simple stuff. I hope that you guys will post a comment. Jessica says, I'm totally a projector. Mwah. I love the projector. I love the projectors. We could not manage this world without you guys. So I know it's a frustrating role to take on, and I'm so grateful that you're here. Courtney says, a mojo session is definitely on my list. It'll be on your calendar by the end of the year. Well, let's hope it doesn't take that long, right? But I think you could be intentional and be on my calendar by the end of the month. That's the intention I'm holding for you, Courtney. All right, guys, I'm so glad that you joined me today. Thank you for being here. If you have questions and you post comments, tag me in them because I don't always see them after the fact otherwise. You can't, right? Because we're no longer posting the replays in Club Clarity. So to get access to the replays, join Patreon, right? I'm going to put in that link. Some of you already are. Like, I know Rebecca was like, oh, catch the replay. Yeah, she's already on Patreon, so she can catch that. And then we have a separate group, separate Facebook group for those who are on Patreon, and that's where we put all the replays from this. So thank you for being here. I hope that you will take that challenge and notice whether you're using push or pull energy so that you can see, you can evaluate objectively and figure out if it's time to shift. So thanks for being here, and I will see you next week in Club Clarity. Bye, guys.